You not looking for perfection, but you're too hard to find. Now the first night is coming, and I know what to do. You know that nothing feels sweeter than someone I need to taste your life again. I need a rendezvous. New revelation just feel my soul. Beginning and ends with you. Distracting my attention, you're all that's on my mind. You not looking for perfection, but you're too hard to find. Now the first night is coming, and I know what to do, yeah. You know that nothing feels sweeter than someone else. ring a bell. Rackets free from the maze. We can be taught to love. We've got to learn a new way. I wanna see, I wanna be, don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. Yeah, you're gonna push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shadows. Push me to the edge, I need a color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue. Yeah. I wanna see, don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. Push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, I need a color, it's black and white and blue. Yeah, black and white and blue. You're going black and white on the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, I need a color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue.
There we go. We should all be online now.
Check.
Yeah, no audio.
Hold on. Give it a second to catch up.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Check.
Yeah. Hey guys.
All right. All right.
There we go.
There we go.
Holy cow. What a night.
All right.
But I'm getting let me mute the YouTube now that I know that this is working, because now I'm hearing everything. There we go. So now I was getting echo. Wow. I'm getting an echo from somebody though.
Are we good now?
Yeah, I'm just getting an echo from somebody. And I think we're good now. Okay, good. Awesome. So, wow. We've been working on this new software. First of all, let's say welcome back to Jason, because, first things first, Jason has been part of this almost as long as Eric has. And Jason was lucky enough to start, COVID disappeared, and not disappeared, but it got workable, and Jason's industry just took off, and he's been working, so he hasn't been able to come on the show, and we welcome Jason back, and we missed you, bud. So
Yeah.
And I thought
Muted.
we lost Jason's mic.
Yeah. Muted.
Yeah, both are on. Let me see if you got. Nope, you got nothing.
I assure you, this one's
It's green. It's green. And your audio source is master. And your audio. Yep.
Unsolo B up top.
Okay.
You're still not hearing me?
Nope. I hear
Let me
you,
double
but
check.
they don't hear you.
No.
Oh, that's weird. Well, everybody else is working.
Well, yeah,
Well,
but
it's in the stream.
It's always new stuff.
wait, it's in. They can hear you on the stream,
It's in the stream. I can hear myself talking in the stream.
but your levels
Yeah,
aren't
we
anyway.
can't hear
But, okay, so if they can hear you, that's what the most important thing is.
Okay, yeah.
So, it went from a fire hose to a trickle and then back from a trickle to a fire hose, like literally within about a 3-week run. So everything just went crazy and got back full time and was able to keep going. So it's been a good run.
So somebody's volume is kicking back on the mic. I'm not sure who it is. So somebody's volume is kicking back on the mic. Actually, it's
Yeah,
Eric's.
I'm not sure who.
It's Eric's.
Are you in speakers, Eric?
Is it mine?
Yeah, it's yours, Eric.
We try now. How about now?
Thank you.
How
There
about
you
now?
go. Perfect. Better.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Well, so welcome back, Jason. And again, I know we're 15 minutes run late, but for those of you that are avid watchers of the show, you'll notice a little bit different of the format. We are still using Melon, but we're using a different way to shunt the feed through Melon and to the rest. So we used to use Restreamio to do this, and now we're using Melon to do it. The new software will get better in the long run, and once I get to Jason to train me a little bit better, because that's what Jason does. Jason does large venues with video and audio and different switching and 15,000 computers and craziness. So
Push buttons make people happy.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. The weird thing is, Dan, is that I still can't hear Jason.
I can't either.
Make sure that their
I'm
calls
sure
are
we can
routed
hear
to
it,
master.
on the feed. I'm
Make
sure
sure
they
that
can
their
hear 'em, but
calls
we
are
can't hear
routed to
them.
master.
Yeah, so if you click on their call, make sure that their call is routed master.
Just
On
let you know.
the right click on the screen, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the right click on the screen. Everyone is master. Everyone's master,
Okay, well, then they should be hearing it.
including you.
And that's the call setting?
When you right click on their look,
Yeah.
their individual look. Yeah.
Call input?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's just
audio
weird that-
source, right? Audio source.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just between ourselves, we can't hear them.
Hold on. Let's see. Master, Jason.
Bear with us, guys. Dan and I tried programming this in 2 hours and
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of time to QC it.
No. So, and why would they not be able to hear you?
Can you guys hear Dan?
You have nothing in post under the mix.
I have nothing in post.
Yeah.
I can hear Dan fine.
Yeah. Everyone else is good except for Jason.
Yeah, because I can.
But I can hear
Scott.
Jason.
Yeah, you can hear him. But I
Audio
can't.
mixer. I need to be back into master.
His
So if you
lips
go into
move,
my input.
but I can't hear
Audio
him.
mix. Oh, yeah. We fixed that. That's it.
That's why.
There you go. 1, 2. There you go. Yeah, there you go. You got green levels now.
You guys should be able to hear me.
There you go.
There we go.
There we go. All right. That was one of the things. Jason,
Channel matrix.
text me and make sure I save this before, because I can't save it while we're out. But we're making changes on
We'll
the
get
fly, everybody. And just because it's fun, I'm just going to do this. And there we go. So it's kind of cool with the things that we could do. We could do names, we could do better tickers, we could do better graphics, and we could do a whole bunch of stuff to elevate the show to another level. Plus, when guests comes on, it's a lot more. It's a lot easier to run the show by using this. So I appreciate everybody's patience while we're going through our technical difficulties. And I think we're ready to start. We ready to start? Can we start now? I think we can start.
It's no different than when I'm at work.
There you go. Beautiful. So we can start now. So we got some upcoming guests coming up on April 6th. We have Bob Denny that's going to be coming in from Alpaca, or he's going to give us a rundown of Alpaca and how it works with the different platforms. It's going to be really cool. On the 13th, we have Charles Bracken, and he is an author of books such as the Astrophotography Sky Atlas, the Planner, the Deep Sky Imaging Primer, which is in my living room next to my table. So I actually found an old version of his book. I didn't even know I had it in my bookcase upstairs. So I have another one. So I have two imaging primers. I got first and second edition. But so that being said, let's say I didn't get a chance to load up the graphics for this. So thank you to our sponsors. I can't forget our sponsors. Woodland Hills, Night Sky Network, both at the main sequence level. Then we got Prima Luce and Camera Concepts, and also we have at the Masters of Pix Insight and IP for AP. So thank you for everybody for the giveaways and all that kind of stuff that we're giving away. We're giving away stuff almost every week. We're giving away something. Whether that be a yearly plan for IP for AP, Masters of Pix Insight workshops. We got an Eagle 4 Pro that we're going to give away during the summer. Once in a lifetime Eagle. I'm figuring out a way, and I hate to do this to everybody, but everybody who is signed up for it is going to be good. But we're going to do a way that you need to be a subscriber to win the Eagle. This is a super premium giveaway, so I want to make sure that everyone becomes some sort of, could be involved in the community. I want to make sure only people that are involved in the community win the Eagle. So that's one thing. And we're giving away $50 gift certificates to Camera Concepts and Woodland Hills and Night Skies Network, not Night Sky Network. Night Skies Network is a really cool program, and Joe, who runs it, forgot his last name, is going to be coming on the show and giving us a rundown. So basically, anybody, and it's a free service, anybody that logs on to the service, you can stream your rig to the members of Night Skies Network automatically. And you just go in, you click on, I want to see what this guy's shooting from Brazil. Okay, boom. And you're watching their rig. So it's kind of cool. So thank you to all of them. Thank you to all of our guest sponsors. I mean, our member sponsors. We have almost 30 member sponsors already. And we just started this. Like 2 weeks ago.
All these things that have changed while I take a 6-month sabbatical to go back to work.
This is what you get.
It's awesome.
This is what you get. So we got almost 30 members, and I'm gonna ask everybody, if you guys and girls that are out there that are subscribing, thank you. But I'm gonna ask you to do me a favor, and it's a personal favor. And this isn't me being greedy. This is so we can get more money back into the community. YouTube, I'm sorry, I love you hosting us and everything like that, but you know what? You're greedy. And, they want to take 30% of all the money that you give the show in their pockets. So Patreon, we opened up a Patreon account who only takes 8% out, and that will all go back into the shirts, the hats, the giveaways, all that kind of stuff. But it's less money that YouTube gets and more money that we get to keep to put towards giveaways and stuff like that. So I'm going to ask, if you want to do both, that's fine. But if you're going to go move to Patreon, feel free. Don't take any. I'm not going to take any offense. None of these guys are going to take any offense of it. Feel free to cancel your subscription to YouTube and move to Patreon, and we'll go from there. But if you want to do both, That's fine. But That being said, I did the giveaways. We did do picture of the week. So picture of the week, the voting has started. Okay, for the next bit, there are 4 pictures up for the picture of the week. So make sure you vote for your picture of the week on astralweb.com. And if submissions are done for this week, they're finished. Just the voting, and we give away on Friday, and we announce on Friday. However, since I put everything online and it's not us voting anymore, and it's the membership voting, I extended the voting to literally Friday at 5 p.m. because all we got to do is go on the website. So I extended it to Friday, and we'll announce 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, whatever we decide on Friday night.
Cool.
Holy cow! I need a drink. Anyway, that being said, I am done with my spiel. The only thing I have that's really about astrophotography is I finally got first light on the ASI Air Red Cat EQM35, vacation kind of rig. I finally got first light on it. I took a. Well, you know what? Okay, they're okay.
EAF.
Yep, EAF. ASI Air EAF with the Deep Sky Dad 3D printed ring with the belt. What else is on there? Anything else? I think that's it. That's all I have really on there. But plate solving is more of a problem with the EQM35 than it was the ASIR Pro. The knobs are kind of chintzy. So I turn it a little bit. I'm off 10 degrees. So it was just a matter of getting used to with that. The autofocus, no problem. Plate solving and go-to and all that, no problem. What else? Okay, so Grudge, and this could be something that I just don't know. So Eric, you're the Jason. Now Jason's back.
Jason's back here too, so it's both.
Yeah, you guys are the ASI Air pros in the group. Auto guiding.
Yeah.
Okay.
I start a sequence. It doesn't start the auto guiding. You have to do it manually. Am I doing something wrong?
Are you doing a plan or are you doing an auto run?
I didn't know there was a difference.
There is a difference.
There is.
Okay. So maybe you could, both you guys could jump in and explain this to the group, because I did not know that. So what's the difference between a plan, a sequence, and an auto run?
Okay, so basically with an auto run, you have to manually start your guiding, because all it's going to do is run your sequence. Okay, you program in your sequence as far as your number of exposures, what filter you're going to use, what bin setting, that type of stuff. You program that into auto run, and then you hit start. Once you go into auto run, you hit the white circle, and then that sequence, and then those sequences begin. With planning, it's very similar to, like, say, an SGP or a Nina, where you enter in your sequence. However, it will also start your guiding.
Okay.
So it'll start your guiding and everything else. So it'll start calibration. It'll do, for your guiding, it'll do all of that. And then it'll also, if you also turn on your autofocus, if you have your autofocus set up, it'll begin the autofocus sequence. It'll begin all that stuff. It'll run all that. So usually it does, if I'm not mistaken, it gets auto guiding set up first, as far as calibration. And then it goes into a loop. Then it goes into a loop. And then while it's looping, it does EAF. So it does the auto focusing.
Okay.
And then once everything is focused, it goes back. It starts guiding again, and then it starts your sequence.
Okay, so that's what okay. User error, fine, good. Because I was
So
getting ready to. Jack?
The other thing that plan does for you is you can have multiple targets.
Yes,
So
you can't have multiple.
saying that you've got limited sky access to a target in plan, you can determine roughly how much time and figure out how many images you're going to get within that time frame, depending on what your settings are. You can tell it after it's done 15 images on target, M51, then you can have it stop that plan and move to the next plan, which will pick up and do however many you want. It'll repoint, re-guide, recalibrate on the next target. So you can do multiple targets within one night.
Okay.
The other place that comes into play is being able to semi-automate, being able to do mosaics. So you can take and do coordinates and set custom points of interest, POIs, and you can then go through and do 15 captures of position 1, then have it move to position 2 and do 15 captures, and then position 3, 15 captures. So you can then build your mosaic and gather all that intel, and it will go through and do like he was saying, the guiding and tracking and all that will all get done through plan.
Yeah,
Okay,
that'll all
cool.
get done through plan. You can even go through Telescopius and you can download the CSV file for your mosaics. You can upload that into the ASI Air. So it has it has the RA and declination for each section of your mosaic.
Target.
So it can do all as well for your target. It can do that as well. One cool thing I also like is when you're doing your sequences on a particular target, if it'll also show you. It has a little graph as far as that target and where it's at as far as its degrees as far as the horizon.
Okay.
So it'll let you know as time goes on, when that one's going to get below a certain degree point of the Earth. So you can say, okay, I need to, if you need to stay above 25 degrees, you can say, okay, I can only do so many shots. I can only do so many lights here. Then you can say, okay, I want to switch to another target so I can maintain to be above,
above the horizon.
The default is 30 or 35 degrees.
Yeah, so you're not shooting into somebody's house, or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or a fence or a tree line or
power
lines.
Yeah,
power lines. That's me. Power lines.
Power lines. Exactly. So that's kind of cool.
Okay. So that's good. So then explain to me why you have a plan tab and an auto run tab. What is the point?
Well, the biggest reason behind it.
I saw Eric. He had to think about it for a second.
Auto run is how it was, when
right, which is what I'm used to.
When the ASI first kicked off, it was auto run. The plan has recently just come with, I believe, with 1.8, with version 1.8.
It was late 1.8, early 1.9. Yep.
Yeah. So that's new. I use auto run now basically for my calibration frames.
Okay.
That's really what all I use auto run now for, is to run I'm doing it right now, running my sequence of calibration frames for my darks.
Okay, so let me ask you, maybe this is the same thing again, because I am not an ASI. I hope this is helping other people that aren't good with ASI, because this is just a product that I don't have a lot of hands on. You asked me about an Eagle, I could tell you all about the Eagle. You asked me about other stuff, I could tell you about other stuff, but about this, I'm not in that niche ZWO ecosystem where I'm not there. But for a small setup like I have, that it's gonna be my vacation setup, this really fit the bill. So so that being said, now you spoke about calibration frames. Now, if you do calibrations in auto run, which I did yesterday, I did bias, flat, dark. Did the bias, continued to do the flat with the cap on, and then it didn't warn me to put the flat panel on.
No, it won't. It won't. It will
okay,
not.
So that's a little bit of a thing there. If you wanted to do it all together, you have to do it separate.
So you have to do them kind of separate. You have to do them separately. Because it will not warn you when to put the flat panel on, or it's going to say, "Hey, the bias is done. Switch to your flats." Put the flat panel. It's not going to do that. So,
Yeah, so don't
No.
don't do what I did and do bias flat dark. Do bias dark together. Go ahead, knock yourself out. But
and then
you
when
know,
you do your flats, you do those separate.
do the
on
flats
side.
separately. Get out there, put your flat panel on there, and don't
Yeah,
try to
and
put
then
a
you
spike
can-
of flat on a red cat. You know, it'll turn out. You know,
No.
I did not try to do that. I got my little guy. I still, for those of you guys that know
I
me,
got my little tracing. I had my little tracing.
I got my little guy here.
Yeah.
This is what I used for the red cat. I just laid it on top, and that's it. But
Okay.
you know,
So the other thing that you can do, Dan and Eric, is a couple of guys have started actually using Plan to do your calibration frames, because for the most
You
part they're
can.
fairly much the same. So you can save those plans, so you don't have to go recreate them every time, which is helpful.
Right.
So I typically tend to park mine, and I'll make adjustments, so I just have them labeled. But the nice thing is like if you were to set a plan for darks, flats, and biases, each in their own individual plan, you can tell flats to do a wait command before it triggers. So if you know that you're going to do 100 flats, or sorry, 100 darks and 100 calibration frame or biases, and you know roughly how long that's going to take, you can tell it to wait 4 minutes. So when it finishes the last one, you've got 4 minutes to make it over. Well, you remember, oh crap, I got to go do this. Put your flat panel on top, and then it'll start running the sequence. Now, if you haven't done it, it's going to run the sequence no matter what. But you can set a delay to be able to trigger that.
yeah,
I like the delay features. I do like that.
well, we do have some questions already. I think Tarek's trying to make fun of us because I wasn't watching the chat until I think Tarek's making fun. I think he's making fun of us that we take a long time to answer questions apparently. So so the first one, technical. Did I miss this? How do I redeem my gift certificate from last week? So Dank, I need some more information from you, or Dan K. I need some more information from you. I will send you reply to the email that you got to me, and I'll give you more instruction on that. That's for the Camera Concepts one. Jeff just wants some more information so he can put you in the system before he gives you the gift certificate. So we'll get that sorted out for you. I'm sorry that took so long. What do I search for on Patreon? Patreon, you can search for Astroworld TV, and you could go right there. I also put the link in the chat. What else did we miss in? Oh, I thought there is a button to hit start guiding after plate solving on the ASI Air.
There might be a radial check, a checkbox.
Yeah.
It's been 6 months since I've been in it, unfortunately, so it's a little fuzzy.
And that's, I think
You should see the inch and a half of dust in all my poor gear.
I saw it. You showed it to me.
Yeah, I did.
You showed it. You
It's
can write his
disheartening.
name. His kids are writing the names in it. You know.
Luckily, it's up where the kids can't get to it.
Wash me.
Yeah, exactly. Bathe me and let me see dark.
My question is about
Better than
off-axis
selling.
guiding. I didn't see the question, Tarek, and I didn't skip it on purpose. I really didn't see a question about off-axis guiding. So if you could ask your question again, that would be awesome. So Pete, you're a little quiet. You all right? Or is it just us
No,
talking?
I'm just listening. I'm listening because it's what you guys are leading into brings up a couple of really good questions. Is that when we talk about bias frames, people say, well, do I really need to take bias frames? Because bias frames are already in your dark frames. And so I was just thinking is that for the collective group, this would be a really good topic of discussion. Some people swear you need to take bias frames. Some people say, no, you really don't. To me, it just depends upon the low read noise of your camera. If you got a very low read noise camera, pass on the bias frames, just take your dark frames.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And you know what? And a lot of people are migrating to, depending on who you talk to, dark, flat, dark.
Yeah.
People are migrating to that, taking darks the same exposure time and temperature as your flats, which makes a little bit more sense if you think about it. Get the read noise out of the flat, get all that kind of stuff out. let's see, we're getting a bunch of questions actually.
So Tarek was asking his first question. So I'll ask it again, was about OAG. What do you recommend? It'll be for a 10-inch RC. I think it's going to be pretty much unilaterally the Moog.
The Moag, yeah.
Right, Scott? It's kind of the king of all.
the man of little words nods his head.
It's the
So
Cadillac.
the Moag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Moag is really cool. Just don't get anything you need gaskets for, because Scott's still waiting on his.
No, actually, I got.
Hey!
No.
Those things have made the up and down the West Coast and East Coast and
Hallelujah.
You don't know this story, do you, Jay?
I think it was right as I was leaving, or I'd caught glimpses of it during some of the replays when I'd grabbed the show during downtime at work.
Oh my God.
I've got this amazing, Moag, and the filter sliders, and I've got the Optolong filters and the Astrodon LRGBs and this and that. And I can't use the stupid thing because they sent me 50 millimeter gaskets for 36 millimeter freaking filters.
nice.
You didn't need the right size.
I tried to,
It's a couple of millimeters among friends.
What am I going to do? Super glue the freaking things into the, I'm not going to do that. So, and that so now they sent me. I called up and I spoke to Doug out there, and he said, "Oh yeah, no problem." And then so I've got 7 filters, right? So they sent me 5 gaskets. I'm like, great, okay, I got 5 gaskets. Any chance I could get 2 more? So Joyce jumped all over it, and she sent me 4.
Awesome.
Hey, gotta love it.
Tarek was following up with his question.
Went to my old address, so she had to send a second set to come to the new address. It's been a debacle.
If it was up to me, I'd recommend the Optex Agita. The Optex Agita is in stock. Moags, I don't think that they are in stocks, and I think it's going to be a while before you'll be able to probably get them. But the Optex Agita's got the large pickoff prism at
12.5, right?
Millimeter by 12.5 millimeters. So you'll definitely be able to get a guide star with that. And it's the perfect opening. It's like an M72 size opening. So it's perfect for the RC.
Yeah, and Tarek is saying he's only got an APS-C sensor. So at that size, most anything will work that's in your budget and is in stock. They're all going to be roughly the same quality optics and things like that. So you're not really gaining anything by going, unless you're planning on making the jump to full frame. And depending on the quality of your scope and the optics and things like that, will really determine whether you're going to stick with that scope or if it's worth pre-buying for that next big leap with a bigger camera.
Question is why would you want to stay a C sensor with that nice scope? Go full frame.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd either shoot 1-inch or full frame. Those have been kind of my sweet spot because I shoot the 533 MC and the 2600 MC. So for me, everything's either full frame or 1-inch.
Is it 2600 full frame or is it ASPC?
No, it's APS-C.
It's APS-C.
Is it APS-C? Yeah. I thought it was full frame. The 6200 was full frame.
Full frame.
6200 is full frame.
Yep.
Yeah.
And let's see. Okay, the Moag, my thanks. Do you need bias when you're dithering? That's from Dan K.
Yes. Because biases are still taking and helping you calibrate the overall image train. Yep. Yeah, so your read noise is really what's going to be affected. And some people say, well, you can leave it out because it's not going to be that detrimental, but it is. I mean, we wouldn't have them if we didn't need them. And a legacy fallover like that is still necessary. It's might be a minuscule help, but any help is still help. It'll make it easier in the further processing chain, being able to clean up.
The one thing that I use biases for, because even though we're using the CMOS cameras now, and you can do dark flats, is I still do bias frames so I can optimize my darks. Because you can't do that with dark flat frames in Pix Insight. You have to have bias.
Yes.
If you're gonna run weighted batch preprocessing, it won't accept. You can't choose optimize dark unless you have a master bias.
You have biases. Yep.
You have to have bias.
Well, and
you do have to
Adam-
have biases or flat darks. You can still optimize and link.
Can you?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
yeah,
You
Adam
need
Block
to
had a
use-
really good thing on his free YouTube tutorial about this
Pix
that
TV,
explained
yeah.
why you have to have each of those. It makes it really easy to really understand. And he breaks down the math of why we're doing each of those different calibration frames and how you can swap out one for the other in certain scenarios.
And what you do, just to get back to the point of the Pix Insight, you have to manually link your dark when you do that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So you have to manually. You can't leave it on auto.
Yeah,
It will
manually.
fail. It will fail on you.
Gotcha. But
yeah,
if you do the manual link, then it won't fail. Got it.
Correct. Correct.
Gotcha.
So David
Second
Schaefer is
question.
asking.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. David Schaefer was asking about bias frames with the ASI 294.
Yep.
And yes, doesn't matter which ASI camera it is. Yes, always get bias frames.
Oh, Pete's playing with the sands.
Wrenching, going, no, not so much.
Well,
As I said, it depends on the read noise.
yeah,
I've gotten away
there are
with
two schools of thought. You know.
Yep.
Just
I'm
like
not saying that I agree with everybody. You should definitely take them, but if you can get away with them and you don't see a difference, give it a shot. If it's a low read noise camera, you can definitely do it.
Well, the other thing is too is like because I've got both my cameras are backside illuminated. They're extremely low read noise, but I've always seen a benefit from doing it. If I've skipped it, I can see the degradation in the signal in post process. So bias frames take so little time to actually execute.
They do.
You're not losing anything.
That's what I was going to say. That you know, I used to say, you know, bias frames are cheap. You know, they're cheap.
Yep.
They're, you know, they're a hundredth or a tenth or whatever. How fast your shutter is. That's how fast your bias frame should be. And that's it. Just take you can take 100 of them.
It's the lowest. It's the lowest speed. It's the fastest speed available.
Yeah.
You know, if you're doing it with the ASI Air, so it's usually like a couple tenths of like a tenth of a second or a hundredth of a second, and I just let it go.
And Tarek got second question: do I need to use a reducer with the Ritchie Crichton? If so, then which one can match APS-C? So I'm not a Ritchie Crichton user, so
I'm not sure.
Check your image circle.
I have heard of 0.62s or 0.67 rather, a 0.67 reducer.
Well, the Leap is at a 0.62s.
Yeah, but with an RC, I believe when I saw it for like an Ioptron Truss RC, they were also selling a 0.67 reducer, if I'm not mistaken, or Orion sells them. So I have heard of a 0.67 reducer.
Oh yeah.
You can get for an RC. Do you need them? I don't know, because aren't RCs don't they have pretty much a flat field anyway? The RCs versus.
But the reducer is really not helping the flat field at that point. It's just giving you a larger field of view.
Yeah, because an RC natively has a flat field, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But you're not using the reducer for flat field. You're using it to reduce focal distance to get a wider field of view.
Yeah.
Well,
I know
a wider
that.
field.
I was just wondering.
And what else? We got more stuff. We got lots of questions going on.
Sometimes bias frames won't work for flats. Yeah, there's a lot of debate out there. There's a lot of debate out there for flat darks versus bias with a CMOS like the 294. I still personally I do flat darks, but if you want to optimize your darks, that's when they ask for the bias frames.
Yeah, because there is that separate
I know
block.
an EPP had asked for it, I think even in actual pixel processor, it expects you to have
The bias.
a bias.
Yep.
You know, if you want to optimize darks within APP, if you want to do your integration with an actual pixel processor.
Yeah, all you have to do, you could easily bypass the biases now, and just you'll have two different darks. You got to have a flat dark. So if that's it'll know that it's a flat dark, but just make sure you call it a dark frame, because that's what it is. It's a dark frame. So it's a dark for your flats, hence dark flats.
Right. Exactly. Beatrice, you really, like I said, you really don't need, as long as you have the flat darks, or the dark flats, whatever you want to call them. But if you have those darks for your flats for the 533 MC, I don't think you really need it.
I use dark flats with my 294. I don't notice a difference from when I was using bias. So again, that was my buddy Mark.
Yeah.
Someone told me that a 0.67 is okay for smaller sensors, which it is.
Yeah. I mean, if you talk about a small sensor like using the 533 or the 294, you know, those are pretty small.
So Tarek, one of the things to think about, because I saw in one of your last comments there that you're thinking about the 533, and I don't want to dissuade you from it. One of the things to think about, though, is even though it is not looking or not physically giving you magnification, it's looking at a much narrower slice of your overall optic.
Yes.
So you're going to appear to be taking a much narrower slice of the sky because of the native being a 1-inch sensor. So you want to really kind of drop that into your average targets, or the things you're looking at getting with the RC and the 533 by using Telescopius or something like that, to put it in and visualize your target.
Yeah.
So you can see what that difference is going to be without a reducer and with, and see what the gain is, performance gain.
Yeah.
So that's really the best thing you can do to figure out if a reducer is going to be a good fit for you, is if the cameras you're using are going to benefit you in being able to get a little bit more of an object that you're in too tight on. That's really the only thing you're going to gain. By going to the 533, if you're already tight on an object on the RC, it's going to be even tighter on the 1-inch sensor, because it's looking at a much narrower swath of the optic.
Also, take a look at what the image circle is going to be with that reducer. That'll predicate what the sensor should be.
Yeah.
Oh, Santa Claus show up? Oh,
Somebody's got
I know why the clouds are in New York.
This is something I won't use for 6 months.
Oh, that's a QHY. Which one?
This is a 268.
Okay.
268C?
No,
That the one shot or the mono?
it's a mono.
It's only mono. He doesn't shoot color.
Well, no, I thought he does. I thought he did have a color, didn't he?
I do. It's on the Red Cat. But this is going to go on the 127.
Okay.
Because it pairs lovely with that.
Yeah.
So it's still an
Did you pick
APS-C.
up Tyler's 127?
What's that?
Did you pick up Tyler's 127?
Well, no, this is a 127 that I did get from Tyler, but not his. This is a carbon fiber FCD 100, whatever. But
I love mine, and then I upgraded to the 140.
You went to the 140. Yeah,
yeah,
no, you went.
Yeah, now it's on the table with like 5 layers of dust.
Well, I had the 152 for about 4 months, and I kind of regret letting that thing out of my grip.
Yeah.
Looking at that
now,
mono,
Mark's trying to sell it.
It starts to bring me to what we were talking about earlier, as far as my issues going, and this whole thing. And Tegan, he put out. Honestly, I haven't had a chance to see the video, but he put out a video of one shot color versus mono, and I don't know if how many of you guys.
Yeah,
have seen that.
I started to watch it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Okay, so here I am. I've got the new 91. Everything's going great. However, I'm just, maybe because I just got spoiled and I'm just so used to using a one shot. It's taking me a lot of time, to really get around this, And I understand why you use a mono versus a one shot. Yeah, I get all that because of the bare matrix and the benefit, of using the mono versus the one shot. I get all that. It's just the time. I honestly feel the time. The time. It's killing me.
Well, hold on. Now,
And not only that, also, I have also another question to bring this up.
okay.
How far is too far to go on your exposure when you're looking at, if you're going off that histogram? If you're going off a histogram, because
If it clips,
no, because
no,
it's like
It's
no,
off the
I'm
left.
not clipping it. It's not. I'm going right, and it's like I get a feeling like I did a project, and honestly, I feel like I'm gonna have to trash that entire project and start all over again.
Okay, so here's the thing with that. It's going to be different for every rig, man. It's going to be different for every camera, every rig. So what you got to figure out, number one thing, your full well capacity is going to be a huge factor in this.
Well, yeah,
right?
And it's a 294 mono, and it's 5,000. It's 50,000.
Yeah, it's 50,000. Yeah, so
that's 5,000, 50,000.
So that's fine. Now, the next thing you want to do is look at your stars. Are your stars getting bloated? Once you start seeing bloat in your stars, once you start seeing any artifacts that you don't like, you got to kick it back. It's not a simple answer.
Here's my thing that kicks me in the butt.
Oh,
and I take a shot, and I'm doing like say a 3-minute shot. Okay, I'm doing a 180 second, or even a 300 second. I don't know if in my guiding the guiding looks great, but I'm still getting slightly elongated stars. I'm still getting kind of these slightly oval stars, and it kind of frustrates me. However, and I don't know if I'm overthinking things, because if I run this through subframe selector, or if I'm doing it through APP, and I'm giving me the scores of the stars are still like around less than 4. Their full width half max is less than 4.
Well, you got to remember something. If you're looking at elongated stars, that's not FWHM. That's eccentricity.
It's eccentricity.
That's eccentricity. So you need to take a look and to get a picture that is good, that you like the star shapes. Put that in subframe selector. Get the number from eccentricity and FWHM. Throw them both in there as two different criteria that you wish to pass on.
Right,
say, okay, you know what? If my FWHM is under 4 and my eccentricity is under 0.7, those are what I'll accept. You put that in your factoring in on subframe selector and let it run. And I guarantee you, all those ones that you say that are elongated will be X'd.
Will be X out.
They'll be X. They might be, just because they're in focus, it just means the star's not bloated. If they're small, they're not extended. Once they're extended, then your eccentricity problem is the issue.
Okay.
So
Now, is it
to Eric? So Eric, the question to ask you is that how elongated are they? I mean, are you talking major H shape? Because as Dan was saying, now you got to go through the process of elimination. So if you have tracking in RA, okay, if you've got elongation in RA, that's a tracking issue. If you've got elongation in deck, that's a polar alignment issue. So that's the first step to go through the process of elimination. The second step is, do you have flexure issues? That's the second step.
Because I'm using this is on my 91. So I'm using my mini. I'm using my mini guide scope. So this is only like a mini 120. So I don't think I have flexure.
Oh,
okay. So let me ask you then: is elongation in RA or is elongation in deck?
How can you tell? There's another question for you. How can you tell? What orientation tells you if it's RA or if it's deck.
Okay. Well, once
That's
again,
another question.
you know exactly what's your planetarium program. Let's say you're focusing on, say, a constellation, and you know what the stars are, right? You know what those stars are. We know that elongation is going to be from east to west. So the question that I got to ask you is that are you using like a planetarium program, something like SkyX, that you can actually say, okay, I can see now what pattern of stars that I see. You know then that those stars are going to be moving from east to west if it's definitely going to be an RA.
Okay. No. I'll be honest with you. I choose something and I go for it.
So because
I'm
he's
honest.
using the ASIR, it has
I'm using ASIR.
guiding software, planetarium software within it. So he's not using a third party. It's all integrated, which is catalogs accrued from other third parties, mainly Stellarium.
Yeah. So if I can,
See, this is where
I'm
you might
gonna,
have
you
to
know, I'm
become
gonna,
old school.
while we're talking about this here, while you guys are talking
bunch
and
of
we're
questions.
discussing this now, I'm also gonna flip over to PI and I'm gonna find one of these images, one of these FITS files, and I'll bring it up. And when I find one, I'll share it with you, and we can take a quick look. But we'll get to that. I just have to find one so we can continue the conversation and also answer a few other questions and stuff like that. And
I'm actually playing around with an image that I have right now. Let me see if I could do this real quick. Scott, wake up, man.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
He's watching March Madness.
I'm bringing up the picture. That's it. I'm bringing up Scott's picture.
Okay.
There you go. So that picture has gone viral on the Discord channel, just so you know. One of the watchers literally just took it and clipped it and put it on the Discord channel. Said Scott, when he doesn't say anything, he's like E.F. Hutton. When he speaks, people listen. But there was a bunch of questions up there.
Freaking awesome.
That's great.
Let's see. I asked about a reducer. Okay, so Jerry Valdez. Question. Do the darks work best when optics are attached, or is it all in sensor? In which case can one take them completely independent of the image session and without the telescope connected?
Yes.
Yes.
The simple answer there is yes.
So,
well, yes to which side?
Well, so
on or off?
Darks, you can take them off.
No, you can take it with just the camera.
Yep.
Yeah.
People are taking their freaking DSLRs and putting them in the fridge, for crying out loud.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest issue with the darks is the temperature and making sure if you do not have a cooled camera, you're gonna have to take it and put it in the freezer and do your darks. You don't have a choice with DSLR. You're gonna have to do that unless if you do it at the time of acquisition. And who wants to do that? Who wants to waste this imaging time by taking pictures of nothing?
Yeah, because you're talking about
that's hours. What rainy days are for.
Yeah.
Make it dark libraries.
That's huge.
Like right now, it's cloudy right now. I'm doing another dark library.
Well, I'm gonna have to do new darks, new flats, new everything. I'm gonna have to do all over again. So I
get to do them all over again if I ever get my gear up.
Yeah, Saturday looks like the next clear night. I got about 2 hours of M81, M82 with the Red Cat. Before I said, you know what, let me just go to bed because you know what, I was tired. And I got about 2 hours. So that'll be my first kind of one-shot color with the Red Cat. So I feel your pain, Eric, when you go in the mono. Now, speaking of mono, because Eric still can't get behind. See, another reason why and anybody feel free to yell at me. This is me just being me. And the thing with mono and really light polluted skies, okay, with going mono and shooting the red, the green, not so much the luminance, but the red, the green, and the blue by themselves, you get some inherent light pollution filtration by doing that also. So you're only letting the blues in, you're only letting the reds in, you're only letting the greens in. Now, luminance, different story. You know, you're letting it all in. You're basically shooting through a piece of glass. But you know, when you're doing mono and you're doing RGB and from really bad skies like I have, it's more beneficial to me than it might be for you at Portal 5. You know what I mean? So just think about that when we talk about, and as far as taking the time, nothing's stopping you from doing what I do, and I do it in a cycle. Now, you may not be able to do this, I don't know, with ASIR, but do 5 luminance, 5 red, 5 green, 5 blue, 5 luminance. 5, so you get a little bit of everything through the course of the night. So you don't say, oh man, I got 6 hours of luminance and 3 hours of red, and I can't do anything until I get the rest of the red RGB. You know what I mean? You know, that is one of the things that mono imagers do to kind of see what they're getting a little bit quicker, and you get a little bit of each one, and you just do it a cycle. So once you do your 5 of each, it'll go back to the lumens, and 5 of each, and it'll continue to cycle through those 20 frames.
Now, what do you do? How many of each filter do you do in your cycle?
Well, what in the cycle? About 5. About 5.
You do about 5?
Depending on the length of the exposure.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say probably about whatever it is, 20 to 30 minutes each filter.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's 10, 2 minutes or 4, 5 minutes, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that your dithering also is kind of sampled the same way, kind of. You know, you don't want to dither in between filters and, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, so I kind of do it. So if I'm doing 5 or 4 5-minute shots, I'll dither every 4 frames instead of every 3, and I'll do it with the filter change.
Well, gotcha. And really, with you only doing 5 images per run, is there really much of a benefit of dithering with a 4-minute exposure like that? Because if you're going to switch filters at the 5th image, you're not really gaining a whole lot.
Well, it all has, because you got to remember that you're not just doing 5, you're doing 5 and then you're going back, you're doing another 5, you're going back, you're doing another 5, and you're constantly doing just sets of 5. So if you need to drizzle, you're going to need to have that dither in there in order to kind of get that stuff out. So you're going to need it.
Okay.
Well, so this also there'd be an inherent
question, because Dan, would you go ahead and just do 2x2 binning on your RGB and just do 1x1 binning on your luminance?
That's something that you and I need to talk about, or we could talk about on things, because I've always shot 1x1, always shot 1x1.
But I agree with you. Is at the same time you could definitely do 2x2 binning on your RGB and then just do the 1x1, and then in post processing, just increase the resolution up to
the 1x1.
So you know, that's it. It really is kind of 6 of one and a half dozen the other.
Yeah. No, I mean, does it save time? I don't know. When you look at the grand scheme of things, I'm not sure. I've never done it, so.
And Beatrice was asking, do you have to refocus on each filter, Dan? Yeah, I at least I do.
Yes.
So
yes.
So really, this whole thing kind of comes back to Eric's original question: is one shot better than mono, or is mono better? And I tell you what, frankly, my say on this is that if you're going out for a portable setup for one night, go with a one-shot color. But if you're going to be at a star party for 3 nights and you don't have to break down, take your monochrome setup. So the best of both worlds is having both cameras, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah, and that's what I do, and that's what I have. I have my one-shot 294, and I have my mono 294. So right now, that's why, here in the backyard, that's why I'm doing a lot more mono, because I have the time to.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going anywhere. It's just sitting on the pier. I may as well just go ahead and just do mono. It's just one thing, and Dan, we all can relate with this, except Jason probably, is that, you know, the clouds, you know, being in the Midwest and the East, our weather, good God.
It's so
we get,
horrible.
I mean, we're lucky if we can get 2 or 3 nights out of a month for imaging. Whereas Jason here,
Jason
he'll
gets like
probably end up, you know, with
like
like
280 nights a year he gets. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
clouds are like daylight savings time for us. Most of the time, we don't have a whole lot of cloud cover. Even during monsoon season, we won't have a ton of cloud cover. And if we do, it'll bake off within a day or so. But as of late, with the weather pattern we've had this year, the stretches that I have had that I've been home in December and January, I couldn't shoot because we were all clouded out. And then the 1 or 2 days I would be able to finally shoot were the days that I had to pack to head out to the airport the next morning. So me putting all the gear up and having to break that down, get everything pulled back in the house, cleaned up, out of the way of the kids, and then still head out to the airport, it wasn't conducive, so I haven't shot.
Gotcha.
Right.
And like tonight's clear, but I'm here, so I'm not going to get to shoot tonight.
Tonight's cloudy. It's been cloudy. It's not going to be clear till Saturday. So
yeah.
Now, Beatrice, just one thing about that. I know we spoke about it once, but one thing about the changing of the filters and the focusing. There is a cheat to that, and if you're really good at it, you could get it down. There's something, if you use Nina or SGP or Voyager or anything like that, you could do something called the filter offset. Okay, and what you could do is you could find out what the focus is on every single filter and do the offset for each filter. Plug that into your computer and it will automatically go to that step. So let's say if your green filter focuses at 40 steps less than your red, you could put -40 and it will, whatever it is that it was focused with the luminance, it'll all base on the luminance and it'll minus or plus whatever you need to get in focus. Now, again, there are 2 schools of thought to that. Temperature changes, parfocal filters, all these kinds of things kind of go in there. Atmosphere.
Yeah.
I would still tell you that I am the focusing person. I want to make sure. So it's going to go through every time there's a 2 or 3 degree temperature change, a filter change or a meridian flip, always autofocus. Do another autofocus. It doesn't hurt you. Do it. Just be sure and make sure, because nothing's worse than doing a meridian flip. You don't focus. Something shifted, and the next thing you know, you got 4 hours worth of garbage.
Well, and that's one of the nice things with the ASA Air, because I can also have it do it every so many images. So say I'm doing a 40 image sequence with whatever filters in. I can tell it that after 10 acquisitions or actuations to go ahead and do an autofocus.
Yeah.
Because for me, the time difference, especially once the sun goes down, immediately after the sun goes down, I'll drop 20 degrees. And then throughout the night, I'll drop 10 to 5 degrees in variance throughout the night up until right before sunrise, when it'll drop another 5 to 10 degrees. And then as the sun starts coming up, it'll start to heat up. So I will kind of calculate that into my overall focusing sequence to make sure that I'm doing adequate focuses, because the temperature changes so drastically out here. You know, our night to day is easily a 30-degree swing.
Same
on
here.
a front change, when we don't have the clouds and stuff like that, if we still get that front to come through midday, we can have a 50-degree swing between 8 a.m. and 8 a.m. the next day. So it just really depends on what the weather pattern's doing and what your environment does, because that'll have a lot to do with it. If you get front moves through with a lot of moisture, you're going to have to autofocus more because you're dealing with a lot of atmosphere. So there's a lot of variance, and there's no real set it and forget it. It's always a constantly evolving metric. So the more diligent you are about forcing autofocus, the better off you'll be.
I agree. And, it looks like I opened up a can of worms. Everyone's having all these questions about filter offsets now. And yeah. So Tarek, I know somebody mentioned about it that Nina does have a filter offset plugin that it'll run through autofocus routine, figure out what the focus point is for all your filters, and plug in your offsets, and you're off to the races. Another way to do it, with Nina, if you don't want to do the wizard or the plugin, you could do an autofocus routine for each filter and plug that step number into each filter, and it will figure out what the offset is on everything based on the luminance. So it'll sit there and it will do that. It's really, really cool. I've had limited success with it because of my cruddy skies in New York, but in New York, I would tell you that unless if you're in the skies of Arizona where they're dry, and the New Mexico skies and that kind of stuff where it's completely dry, and but the huge temperature swings aside, I would still have in those situations an autofocus based on temperature. But other than that, I mean, I can't see a reason why not to use filter offsets if you got steady skies. Okay. Nobody. I'm waiting for somebody to say something. Nobody's saying anything.
I need that cricket soundboard.
What was that, Pete?
I said agreeable to that, no question. That's
good.
Hey.
So I'll take the silence as an admonition. And so that's good, because usually if it's quiet, you said something good. If you start hearing blah 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 blah, then it's like, oh, okay.
Well, and that's one of the things, and it's catch-22 for somebody in Dan's situation, because you've got such a high Bortle class that you're setting in, so you're dealing with a lot of, you have a very narrow window to acquire images, but because you have so much light pollution, you need to be in mono. So inherently, it's going to take longer to acquire all the images you need to be able to do the entire acquisition sequence.
Yeah.
But if you're to shoot one-shot color, even with as good as the filters have gotten, you still have to shoot 3 times as long to get enough to stack to try to get the same amount of detail. So no matter what, you're still doing a lot longer acquisition to get the image.
Yep.
But you can get a much higher quality by going with the monos, which is why most people gravitate to that.
And that's been the bone of contention.
I'm using the mono is because I want the quality.
Yeah, but the bone of contention now is that CMOS technology has exponentially gotten better over the past 6, 7, 8 years, and
even over the last 2 years.
Take the last 10 years. When CCD's been around since, people are doing, CCD cameras for security systems back in the 60s, whatever.
Yeah.
So that being said, when is the time that the difference between the CMOS and the mono CCDs or mono CMOS, one shot color or mono, when is it close enough that you could say, you don't have to go mono anymore?
That's going to be a big debate for I don't know how long.
That's going
to be a debate. It's going to be a debate for a while, because again, we're talking about the quality, and also people's preferences. I mean, the reason why I got the mono is because I want to learn it. One, I want to learn it. And two, I want to be able to see what everybody keeps talking about with the quality, this whole quality thing, being able to grab, all of the same color off of all the pixels versus only getting a quarter of it, or in Green's case, half of the pixel, so
right.
I want to really see that difference. Now, have I seen the difference? I haven't honestly had the opportunity to really compare the difference yet with an RGB image. I can definitely tell with a narrowband. I can.
Yeah.
I have done narrowband enough with the mono that I could actually see it.
Yeah.
But with the LRGB, I just haven't had enough opportunities to use it yet to really take, like, say, do the shark, doing my dark nebulae. I haven't had a chance to do both of them yet to really compare.
Gotcha.
Well,
Eric,
in doing
Eric,
LRGB, go ahead, Peter.
Go ahead, Pete.
I was going to say, Eric, that brings up a good point, because maybe what we should do is we should post some of our images, and let's just look at the images and say, okay, let's determine, is this a monochrome image or is this a one-shot color image? And it'd be curious to see how many of us would be able to differentiate. That's not a bad idea. We should definitely do that.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea. But again, here's the problem. My skies are junk. I can't get decent data.
Well, hopefully the spring is coming and it will push away the garbage and we'll have some clear skies. It'll be nice. Don't
Your
worry.
lips to God's ears, man.
Hey man, your skies are my skies. I'm just a day and a half away. So it looks like you're probably going to be good Friday. I'm looking to be good Saturday. So I got to get.
So this is what we would do. We know that Dan shoots mono, so we all know that Dan's images are all going to be a mono.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
No, he's got one shot color.
No, you don't. No,
Okay,
and I started with DSLR,
Eric,
so you don't know.
Eric would be definitely one shot color because he's just getting into mono. So we won't say who took the photograph, but we'll just let the audience kind of chime in and say, oh yeah, that's a monochrome or whatever. And I guarantee you're going to be amazed to see that you'll be hard pressed to tell the difference.
Yeah.
Because it all comes down to post-processing.
Yep,
Mind
it does.
Everybody's so concerned about, wow, there's just so much resolution. Because as Eric says, yeah, for every 4 pixels, we got 2 greens. And so you don't have quite that resolution. But I guarantee you can hide a lot of inconsistencies in post-processing. And when we post those up, you'll be hard-pressed to say that that's a mono and that's a color. You're going to go, that's incredible. And when you find out that it's a one-shot color, you're going to go, that's incredible. That's amazing. But we should definitely do that in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. And we got to get, we should do an ad hoc test with this software again. We'll just talk about this stuff, have a little live meeting. We'll just go live and we'll just talk. But, just to get this taken care of. So, because there's a lot of
to get back in your guys' good graces again, I can be helpful in the fact that they put in a stupid sports park about 2 miles to the south west of me.
You got a little bit of LP going on.
So now
72 trillion frickin' lumen LED lights that, I mean, literally I can look out from my driveway and you just see this white orb. I'm like, you sons of.
So now we still hate Jason, but we just hate him a little less. A little less.
Well, I went from a Bortle 6 to a Bortle 8 thanks to their daylight addition to my neighborhood.
You did not. You went from
Luckily,
a 20 and a half to a 20 even. So you're fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
but I did get lucky and got the local councilman to get him to shut off the lights at 11.
Yeah. Frank made a really good statement, is that mono gives you the flexibility and high resolution at the cost of time and equipment expense. So that is true. That is true.
That is true. But
Question
also to
is-
David's point, I've seen some incredible images with these 2600 one-shot colors.
Oh yeah. But
I love my 2600.
I want to see a 2600 shot from Long Island. That's what I want to see.
Well, I won't be using mine for the next 3 months. You want me to bring it out to you when I come to the New York show?
Sure, I can use it for color shot. I'll throw it on the Red Cat. I don't care.
That's where it started. I started with 533 on the Red Cat, and then I bought the 2600, and then I started getting longer scopes.
Oh, feel free. Yeah, so Jason and I might be we'll probably be hooking up at the end of next month.
Good.
I'll be back in Chicago this weekend. So.
Oh yeah.
So I fly in Sunday night on the red eye back to Chicago for a quick little 4-day.
Nice, man.
Nice.
Now, the one other thing that I wanted to talk about was because you have to, because I know it a lot of times builds on because of your sky conditions, but your sky conditions change every night, right? Those conditions change every night. So when do so I've always been, at least I've read and I've been taught, to really look at that histogram, to really pay attention to that histogram. And I'm not going too far, and I'm not going to the left. I'm not clipping too far to the left. It's when I'm getting closer towards that midpoint, is how far can we go, with when we're doing, because say if you're doing a 600-second or a 900-second exposure, right? You don't want to go too far over or to be overexposed, but you want to try to get as much detail, especially if you're doing mono and you're doing, say, LRGB, or you want to get as much detail as possible. You want to take those longer exposures. What do you guys do, or how far do you guys usually go on that histogram, or how far do you guys push it to say, okay, this is where I should stop before things get, too crazy, as far as the exposure, the brightness, or getting too far on that histogram?
Well, one thing that I do, and I know we spoke about this once or twice on the show, is rolling it through PixInsight and seeing how saturated your stars are at the brightest point. So let's see if I could do this really quick.
Okay, because here, all right, if I take a look at my screen here, and let me go here. All right, let me take a look. I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to show a FITS file. So if I can toggle my screen sharing, and let's go to PI.
Let me see if I could do this. I don't know if I could do this. Oh, I can do this. Oh, that's cool. I love this program. But now I don't have audio from anybody now. So we're gonna have to fix that.
Okay.
I got Eric's audio.
You got mine?
Yep.
Okay. So here is a 180-second. This is I believe this is a luminance.
Yep.
Unity gain for the 294 mono, and it's 180 seconds. So if I go here on a star,
right,
I'm looking at that K value that you're mentioning.
Right. Yep.
I'm at 0.68.
You're 0.68 only?
That's, well, at least down here at the bottom. If you look down at the bottom here, if I'm looking at the K number, you said looking at the K number, right?
Yeah, I can't see it from here. So if you hold down the button, hold down the left button.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm at 0.6839.
So you got some time. You can still do some time. What's that at?
Yeah, because I move it around. I'm just moving around, and now it's at 0.88.
So you're close to saturation now. You got to look around a little bit.
And then if I move it here, now I'm at 1.
Yeah, you got to do an average a little bit. So I would sit there and I probably, how long is that? 3 minutes?
This is 3 minutes. Yep, this is 3 minutes.
And let's what else is in that?
And so that's a luminance. And that's a luminance.
Yeah, what is that? A nebula over there? What is that?
Yeah. This is Iris. This is NGC 723.
Okay.
So this was my project that I was doing, and this is a blue of the same. So if I go to this star here,
well, it should be lower.
That's at 1, and this is at 2 minutes.
And that's 2 minutes on blue.
Yeah.
But I still don't see any bloating. Blue. Now that's a really bright star, though. Go into the nebula.
Okay. So if I go over here to the nebula. Okay, so here's the nebula.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
At the center of the nebula, I'm at around 1.
You know what? I'd be curious to see with that camera.
And that's what my concern is.
Well, I'd be curious to see if you took a. Do you have a? That's 120, right?
Yeah, this is 120 seconds. Yes.
All right. So the other one's 180, right?
Yep. And my luminous was a little longer. It was a minute longer.
Dude, does the value change? I don't think it's gonna.
I don't think it's gonna because you can't go higher than 1, right? There's 1.
Yeah, but I don't see any bloating either, so I wouldn't be worried about it. I might even go 5 minutes. And
the only concern I've been having is maybe not the bloating, but the slight curvatures that you can see here.
Yeah, you got a little bit. Yeah, you got a little bit.
You have a little bit of curvature.
That's on the bottom left-hand corner, right?
Yeah, this is at the bottom. Yeah, these are on the bottom left. Yes.
Yeah.
If I'm moving over towards the center, of course, they're nice and round. Yeah, I'm good there.
Is it on the other corners? Is it at the other corners?
It is not here. It's more blocky. It's round. They're pretty round. They're pretty fair.
All right. Maybe you just got
over on the bottom left, on the bottom right, it's not too bad.
No, it looks like you got a little bit of a tilt issue.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking is that, now that I'm thinking about it, you were pointing it out. Yeah, it looks like it may be having a slight tilt issue.
Yeah.
Because if you look over here on the bottom left, you can see the elongation. But if you go over here to the right, you don't have that really as much. You don't really have it. So it's some sort of a tilt issue.
Run it through ASTAP, the old program.
Oh yeah, the old one.
It'll tell you where you're at.
Sure. Yeah, the little one.
You still have it.
I got it. Sorry, no, it's on my old computer. I forgot to copy it over. So okay, I have to grab it and install it. That's.
You can also.
That'll tell you where you're at.
Yeah, you can either do that or run through CCD Inspector too if you have that.
Yeah, I don't have CCD Inspector, but I should look into CCD Inspector and everything.
So I mean, somewhat related to this. George was asking, do you actually see more detail from longer sequences with lots of it, or more with lots of exposures, or short sequences? And people, this is like the Apple or the Apple PC debate.
Yeah,
yeah.
Coke and Pepsi, man.
Yeah. So I mean, can there be a benefit? Yes. Again, it's all in the equipment and your atmosphere and your expertise.
Mm-hmm.
I can get really good images doing really long if I've got a really good tracking mount.
Yeah.
But I can also shoot an extra 50 images and get arguably equally as good images if my tracking can't hold up. So, I mean, it's easier to add a couple more shorter exposures to get that detail and to reduce your noise than it is to have those super high-end mounts and hope that your balance is spot on to be able to be doing north of a 5 or 10 minute exposure.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, and once you get into certain filters, you're almost required to go there. The sub 3 nanometer narrowband filters are going to be, pushing you to that 10-minute time frame, depending on what you're imaging. Because the amount of light that has to be collected. But, if you're going to drop $4,000 on a set of filters, you can afford a really good tracking mount to help facilitate that.
Yeah, well, now with the Optolongs, which are 3 nanometers, they're under $2,000. So,
yeah, the new Optolongs, yeah,
and Leas and the Chromas will go a little bit higher, but.
I mean, still,
but those
at 3 nanometers,
that's less than $2,000. I mean,
yeah.
So, but at 3 nanometers, you're still going to be doing between a 5 and 10 minute exposure on most targets. So you've got to have a really solid tracking mount and really good balance. Otherwise, it's all for naught.
Yeah.
So you're better off, having things set up in such a way that you can get shorter exposures to not be as dependent on your tracking being spot on perfect to be able to yield a better overall deliverable product.
But here's another. But see, when you're talking shorter exposures, are you okay? So you have shorter exposure. You're gonna have to do a lot more to try to grab as much detail to grab more to grab that detail. Will you not?
Well,
Or
it's
is
the
it
scale
more-
thing. Do I go to a 4.5 or a 5 nanometer instead of a 3 nanometer so that I can do a 5-minute exposure versus a 10-minute exposure? Do I,
Well,
that's where you got to start doing weights. What is more beneficial to your overall capability?
if I can chime in on that, what I would recommend is that basically what narrowband filters are, they're called interference filters. They're specifically made for that band pass of that wavelength of light to come through. So at 3 nanometers, you've got 1.5 above 560, 656.3 nanometers for HA, 1.5 above it, 1.5 below it. Now, with fast vocal scopes, vocal ratio scopes, anything faster than f3.5, no, you don't want to go 3 nanometers. You want to go around about maybe 6 to 7. Even down at say f7, you can definitely go then at a 3 nanometer bandpass, because you'll get those major blue halos. And it's like
Right.
we're talking about is you've got to have definitely, if these interference filters, right, they only allow that particular wavelength of light to come through. So you've got to keep that tracking dead on to be able to get that amount of light to come through. So once again, yeah, if you've got a good tracking mount, then you can push that thing up to 10, 15 minutes if you've got good guiding. If you don't, then you have to take a lot more of exposures. But I agree with you. You have to go to a wider transmission bandpass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tarek, actually, Paul said, I use fairly short exposures because long exposures are often ruined by a satellite passing through. What do you guys think about that statement?
Those you can those will be knocked out, in integration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to Eric's point, if you have a random Starlink satellite, most of those satellite streaks will be rejected.
Yeah.
Whether when you're doing APP integration or Pix Insight, WBPP, that will be. Now, if it's a 747 coming through,
you've got a bunch of streaks.
I would probably dump that. But if it's your random satellite going through, or even a little meteor that kind of goes through, keep it.
I keep
them. It just gets rejected anyway. There's no reason to dump that guy. It's just going to get worse. This Elon Musk character that that keeps on throwing stuff and ruining the sky for the rest of us. It's going to get worse.
It's not just him now.
No, it's not.
There's two other players that are entering that market for low orbit. Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, but I mean, we got enough of junk in the sky screwing up our skies. We don't need anything else, but
yeah.
Tarek asked me will I accept a file from me of it? Yeah, send me. You want to send me images? Send it to me. Tarek, you know what I'll do is I'll make a Google Drive folder for you that you could just dump it in there. I'll send you the link in the chat. 5 to 10 narrowband. That's normal, Dave. EQ6R.
And then Tarek is saying maybe Tarek 1 or 2 in RGB.
It's the airliners, yeah. So it's the big planes. I mean, I'm right over the JFK flight path, and right under. I'm not right over, right under the JFK flight path, and I also have another flight path going east to MacArthur Airport. For those of you that are from Long Island, you know that we got a semi-new international airport on Long Island now. And so we got planes going all over the place here. So it's not only the satellites, but the planes. I mean, to be honest with you, through a course of the night, maybe, I'll have to dump 3 or 4 pictures. It does happen, but I can read the letter.
The ones that usually kill me is the med flights when they come through for me, because the helicopters will come by at 140 feet. So you have a spotlight tracking over your house right in the middle of the shot, and you're like, whoa.
Oh, that make a great picture, man. Save that stuff, man. You got to save that.
Well, all you
That's
see is a
not
white
moving, it's
blur.
space station.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I'm pulling out the Star Wars quotes.
I know. Let's see.
Yeah, a lot of great questions and a lot of great statements from the chat tonight. Really, really awesome.
really.
Keeping the conversation moving. So,
Well, you guys caught a glimpse of my son. That's Jackson. He's
we did. That's the first
13
that's
going
the
on
first,
14 months.
That's his Astro World debut.
First in
I
person.
think.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, he had to do daddy nights, so he's getting ready to go do Bubba's in bed.
Well, no. I remember when Jackson was born,
Yeah.
your wife actually brought him in a couple when he was
Yep.
really
Oh
tiny.
yes, that's right. That's right. Okay, so
Burrito.
Baby in space.
let's say it's his first Astro World debut with hair. I think.
There you go.
Out of the burrito.
Yep.
How old is he now?
Yeah. He'll be 14 months April 5th.
14 months. Oh my God.
So he's one.
Yep.
He's one.
Yeah.
He's one.
Well, up until like 18 months, you go monthly, I guess.
You go monthly, yeah.
I don't know. That's like how old are you? I'm 10 and a half.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, like Abby's birthday is April 5th, so she's getting ready to turn 6. So her presents have already started. So
Nice.
she was excited because yesterday she finally, 2 days ago now, she finally got the road book and she's learning to ride her bike without one of us having to start her. So 2 wheels, she's off on her own now.
Nice.
So daddy was sitting there biking with her yesterday and realized, crap, she has gotten too big for this bike that I had for her. So happy birthday, kid. You get a new bike.
There you
So
go.
we went out last night and picked out a new bike.
Nice.
So she's happy because she's been out biking. So she came in, she's got her new Astro World shirt on, and she's just happy, can't wait to do the clothes.
That's
so
awesome.
Her and mom are working on making sure she remembers the lines.
Oh, she'll be fine. She'll be fine.
Let me ask you next question. Now that we're in Galaxy season,
Yes.
you break it out the long focal lengths.
Yes. I'm not.
You're not.
I'm
But maybe,
I'm
I
doing
am.
doing Leo
eventually,
Trio.
now Scott's got his gaskets. He can finally get out there, So
Yeah.
maybe this evening, Scott, maybe I'm bringing you into this now.
There you go.
Galaxy season.
So say, has Scott taken an image yet? It's been 3 years since that rig started to get built.
I don't think he's. I don't know. But would you? What would you rather? Would you rather go ahead and just do F7 with your Schmidt, or would you want that higher magnification and go F10 on a Galaxy? It's like, say, M51.
I shot M51 a year ago at 27-37 millimeter, and it pretty much filled the frame. Not quite filled the frame. I would say that it was probably 60 to 65% of the frame.
Okay, so at 27-37, that's F7 for you, is it not?
Yeah.
Because you got the 14, so you've got the super bucket.
Yeah.
So like even at a
you got the really big bucket of chicken.
Yeah. he's got the feed the family of 8.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the 9 1/4 is what, 2800 millimeter?
No, it's not that high. I think it's with the reducer, it was like 1900 and change. If I remember right.
Yeah.
I think it's 2350 if I remember.
Yeah, you're right. It is 2350.
Yeah, so 2350.
Because my 8 is 2032.
Yeah. So with the 0.7 reducer, it's just a little bit short of an 8-inch native. If I remember right. And you know what? I'm not that ashamed of getting something at an 8-inch focal length if it's going to speed up my images that much.
Yeah.
F10's a little slow. F10's a lot slow.
I know F10's slow, but that's why I'm asking. would you want to go F10? Be it, yes, it's slow, but you're getting that higher magnification, that slightly higher magnification, or would you want to go with a little bit faster with the F7?
Well, you know me. I went high and low searching to countries and other to find a reducer that didn't screw up my focal length. I went high and low to all over. I did not want to give any millimeters at all to nothing.
That's what
I
I'm
got
saying.
952. I want to keep it at 952.
That's
I don't
what
want
I'm
to.
saying.
I don't want to spend $3,400 on a scope and lose 200
But see,
millimeters.
that's the difference, though, man. But see, you got refractors. Now
Right?
you're
No,
talking.
I got. I
you
do.
got 2,000.
Well, I do have the 9 1/4 coming, so that's going to be my
Yeah.
next project.
So,
And
there you go.
hopefully by next Galaxy season, I'll have something suitable for that, because right now I got a lot of stuff going on. But
Yeah.
so
So you did take my spot, right? You did take my spot.
I
on the 9
kind of
1/4?
well, I got because I work for a telescope dealer. I was able to get it at a different price, so I didn't get yours.
Okay. Okay.
But I'll be
So
getting.
mine is still floating out there. So mine
it
is
is
still floating out.
It is still floating out there.
That's
yeah,
fine,
So,
and that's fine because right now I'm thinking these things won't show up until like next August.
yeah,
And I'm not
Well, it
talking
depends on which
2023,
freighter it's on,
I'm
and
talking 2023.
yeah. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah, my native, by the way, is not F10. My native is F11.
Yeah, yours is slightly long. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
Yeah,
With the
Jerry's
14,
exactly right. Jerry said F7 or F10 for Galaxies depends on the desired framing and lighting conditions, and that's true.
Yeah.
If like Scott said, if what Scott said in the beginning, that he was shooting M51 and it almost filled up the entire frame. At the first, at his first, you may want to look at getting, even a 0.6 instead of a 0.7. In order
You know
to
how
fit
much
both
those reducers cost?
Oh yeah, for a 14-inch, yeah, it's out of control.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
nuts.
Yeah, they're like $800.
Yeah. So, but when you spend 30 grand on a system, what's another 1,000? But yeah.
That's been my problem. It's always been another 1,000 and another 1,000. And
Everything's $1,000.
what do you think it is? A boat?
So basically, it's a boat. Well, it's the size
Yeah, it's a
of
boat or a pool.
Oh, he's already got the boat and the lanai. So I mean,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so let's see. Dave said I'm doing M51 with my 8-inch RC at 1635 at f8, and he's going to crop it a little. So, hey,
Well, and that's the flip side of the argument.
I guess it also depends on the camera too.
Sure.
What camera you.
yeah, size of the chip too.
The camera are getting so good now that doing a 15 to 30% crop on these isn't going to be detrimental to the overall quality. And most people aren't going to see it. They're not going to know the difference in the scope.
No.
People within the hobby or, the professional astronomers will see it, but the rest of them, they have no idea.
No.
To your point, Jason, that's exactly right. I've seen pictures on Facebook, people, putting stuff up, and they're so proud, of this picture they got. And I'm looking at it and like, yeah, jeez, I would never put that on Facebook.
Yeah.
But they don't know. They don't know.
I mean, I put stuff up and I'm not happy with it, which drives me to stay in the hobby and keep active in it.
Yep.
But at the same token, most of the people I show it to are like, "Oh my God, this is phenomenal."
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm like, it's okay.
And I think that, and we talk about this a lot on the show all the time. We are our worst own critics. And, any artist, whether that be painting, photographing, musician, whatever, you're always going to be your own worst critic. You're always going to be that because it could be this much better. It could be this. And I know that I know me. I know it could be better. But
if I spend another $1,000, I can get that next thing that's going to take me to the next level.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh yeah, you know what? I was playing 4-play long time on bass the other night. I was just practicing. and my, I'm doing it online, and everyone's like, yeah, this is awesome. I must have missed like 17 notes. I was flopping all over the place, whatever. And you know what? When you're not a musician and you don't know what you're listening to, you just see some person playing bass and it sounds kind of cool. So same thing with photographing or like I'll tell you, somebody draws me a stick figure and I think it's awesome because I can't draw. I'm horrible. I can't draw a stick figure. I can't do it.
Well, that's the way I am. I can't do any type of decent artwork, but my wife is an amazing artist. She can look at something in freehand and do better than most of the stuff she's looking at.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, that's kind of the thing. So don't be afraid to throw your pictures and stuff out online and throw yourself out there. Yeah, you may get a couple of jerks like us, pixel peeping you and doing things that we shouldn't be doing. But we would never, we only Pete's like, but the only time we critique things is when people send us things to critique. We don't sit there and go searching out. When things are online, I look at it. Oh, that's pretty cool. Nice picture. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, well, that star in the bottom left-hand corner is a little bit oblong, and maybe you just should have cropped it out. I'm not going to do that. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody in their right mind would do that. God, and these are the guys. These are the guys that I can't stand. It's like golf. This is a story. Oh man, I love it. This guy comes up to the golf, and I used to golf a lot. I don't golf a lot anymore, but this guy dressed the part. He had the khakis, the hat, the pull-up socks, the whole thing. Straight out of
like Packer fans.
Yeah, straight out of Edinburgh, man. It was crazy. He had the cat with the pom-pom on the top. He had a
looks like Curly from the Three Stooges.
Dude, this is exactly what it was. And he had this cart. The cart that you roll? Yeah, he didn't roll it. It was remote control. So he would remote control the cart, and he had like a $1,500 driver. His clubs were like $10,000. So I'm like, oh great, I got to play with this freaking guy, man. I suck compared to this guy. So he's sitting there and he's taking his practice swings and he's looking good. And he's gets up to the tee and does his little waggle and gets ready and boom, hits behind the ball by like a foot, and he totally missed the ball. Let's go with the golf club. The golf club goes further than the ball, and it's amazing. The guy botched every single shot. He's horrible. He was horrible. And I'm sitting there, I ended up beating him. And I'm sitting there walking. I'm like, every hole I'm killing this guy. I said, you want to play 3 on the 5, 5 on the 9? He's like, what? I was like, no, don't worry about it. It's okay. but it's
like Robin Williams bid on golf.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. But
oh my gosh,
it's astronomy is fun, and we again the point of the whole story is, we could show up with $30,000 rigs or $2,000 rigs. It's not going to matter. It's what you do with that. It's about the person and the equipment and the things that I know people that could do awesome work with rigs under $500.
Yep.
Yeah. Post-processing. I mean, it's incredible. They've got great graphic skills.
Yeah.
And as long as they got garbage in, garbage out, if they got good data, you can perform miracles if you're great at post-processing and you're running on an AVX mount.
I'm telling you.
Well, this day and age, I mean, people are getting astrophotos with a freaking phone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not about what you have. It's about how you use the tools at hand. And, there was a photographer that I worked with that was teaching a master class. And, to prove his point, everybody was, bemoaning the fact of, well, they've got the super pro camera and I've just got a consumer DSLR. He goes, give me your phone, because he saw one of the guys had a flip phone, the old Razor.
Mm-hmm.
Grab the flip phone, put me in the corner in the shadow side of a house, so it is dark. Now, granted, I glow in the dark, so it was a little bit of an unfair shot. They hit me with a reflector from 10 feet out. Yeah, right?
Yep.
Hits me with a reflector from 10 feet out, bounces just a little bit of light in with a reflector, takes a phone shot from a flip phone. It was literally an 8 meg image.
Yep.
Thumbnail. It's a glorified thumbnail. And it's still one of the best pictures. We printed that thing 12 by 12, and it looked fine. It was all in how you use the tool you've got.
Yep.
Yeah, you know the one that
Just
gets
don't tell my
me
wife,
is-
because I got to keep buying more toys.
The one that gets me is when we go to like some of the big aquariums. My son loves going to the aquariums and the dolphins and this and that. And you'll go inevitably you'll get inside a dark room, that is all front lit with aquarium light, huge, million gallon aquariums. And everybody and their mother is trying to take a picture of their kid, with the sea turtle. And they can't figure out why the kid's in silhouette. You're in a dark room, and inevitably, I always go up to them and I say, "Here, hold on a second. Take your picture," and I'll just hold my phone up. I'll turn the light on, and I'll illuminate the kid's face.
Or they take it with a flash, so then the glass is all blown out.
Yeah, but with just a little light on my camera on my phone here, just illuminating the kid's face, it worked great. And what people don't understand is that photography, no matter what it is, shooting you're up in the sky, shooting deep sky stuff, planetary, or you're down shooting waterfalls and baby kittens, and kids at the park. It doesn't matter what it is. Photography is the ability and the way to master painting with light. And if you can't master painting with light, get out of the hobby, because you're going to be frustrated.
Yeah.
If it was bad on ground, it's even worse when you're in the air.
That's one of the things that I continue to struggle with in post-processing is getting that color palette the way I want it through curves or levels or something like that. It's until you start to realize how to manipulate your curve splines and how to kind of lock down the colors that you don't want to change and masking and stuff like that, you will be surprised on how important even just these two tools, how to make a proper mask and how to manipulate your curves. And you do those two well, the other stuff is somewhat automated. You know what I mean? Noise reduction can be mostly automated. Gradient removal can be mostly automated. Deconvolution now is you could do it mostly automated. Even though I don't use it, I'll still do decon manually myself.
I'll do decon.
Yeah. But you could still do some things and get a decent photo by throwing in these actions, and 45 minutes, you're done. Now, that's not me. I take, 8 weeks to process my photos, but I take a good couple hours to do a good process on my photos. But it's just interesting. If you really just put some more time and effort into some of the processes, you will find yourself infinitely more happier with your final result, I think.
Absolutely.
So.
Yes, you will.
And
we had any other questions?
I'm going to throw something out there to the group, because we got somebody, and I won't mention a name because I don't remember, to be honest with you. Somebody put now I'm not going to do this. Let me preface this with that. I'm not going to do this, but somebody said that we should take anybody that uses photometric color calibrations out of the running for picture of the week
Please.
because it's somewhat
There's
cheating.
No, it's not.
Thank you.
There's a reason. No, it's not cheating because you know why? It's in Pix Insight. If it's in Pix Insight, it ain't cheating.
Nope.
They put it out there. They put that module out there for a reason.
And not for nothing,
just me.
PCC. There she is. PCC is
Wow, she's getting big.
yeah. Done. PCC is done relatively early in the process of your production, of your workflow.
Yeah, early.
And once you make one change in that, it's going to change the PCC. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I agree, Dave. It is. It's just a starting point, and it gets you a little. That if we're going to throw out PCC, we may as well throw out color calibration. And you know, so that's not going to happen. It's just getting you to a basic. You know what? PCC will get you a decent color, whatever, but it's not going to give you, you know, the masking techniques. It's not going to give you the noise reduction where a lot of people screw things up a lot. You know, noise reduction, if you go too heavy or too light on the noise reduction,
you'll notice.
You won't know until the end that you messed it up. It'll just sneak up.
And then you get to go back and do it over.
Yeah. And then, God forbid, you didn't keep your history intact. And you got to do the whole thing all over again because you erased the picture and you didn't overwrite the main picture. You know, so you want to keep your history intact. Big point. But I'm playing with my Next YZ, and I think I just broke it.
Does Abby have freckles now?
Oh, it used to work.
It used to work. I think I just broke it. It's not moving anymore. Oh, well.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah?
Does Abby have freckles now? If you look at you, she's getting little freckles.
Oh, yeah. She's got freckles all over.
Yeah, I see it on her nose. I see it on your nose.
On her nose and everything. That's so cute.
You like your freckles. What do you say?
Thanks.
Say they're my wisdom marks.
My wisdom marks.
You're too young to have
there
wisdom.
They are. That's right.
Hey, I'm a smart Alex like my dad.
We've been playing outside on my bike a lot.
I heard that you're riding by yourself now.
I can start and stop, and I got a new one.
Yeah.
You got. I know you're growing so much.
I used to have a frozen one with a flower basket, and now I still have a frozen one, but it has like a frozen like top where it's like oval, and it has like Anna, Elsa, and Olaf on the front.
So
and it has purple snowflake petals.
Purple snowflake petals.
Okay, that's my next purchase. I gotta get one.
So do you sing? do you sing "Let It Go"? When you sing "Let It Go," when you're riding your bike, please do not let go of the handlebars.
I never.
She's too scared. But she doesn't like it when Dad starts doing the Whispers of the Wind song. When I start doing that.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, that just sends a chill on my spine. It's like, ooh.
Try living with it.
His is kind of scratchy. Mine is perfect.
That's
Thanks,
awesome.
baby girl.
So Pete doesn't know that Abby, for a long time, at least a good year, was our show closer until Daddy started, flying all over the country.
Once he got back to work, then Abby was gone. But now she's back right now. She's back with us for the night.
So let's see that shirt, girl.
Dad's first helper on the show.
Yep.
Yes, you are.
Are you wearing your shirt?
Second one.
Are you wearing your shirt, sweetie?
Oh,
yeah. There it is.
She was super excited to wear her new shirt.
Does that one fit better?
Yeah.
Does it good?
It's still a dress, but
yeah.
You'll grow into it. It's fine.
Yep. No, she's gonna be with us for a while, so at least it'll fit for more than a couple weeks. like most of the
There
rest
you
of her clothes.
Nice. Well, I'm just getting fat, so I'm going this way, not this way. So
Yeah.
I've never lost my COVID 50, so don't feel bad.
you got I only did COVID 30.
I'm an overachiever.
Oh, when you lose big. I'm telling you.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
true.
Thanks, baby girl.
All right.
Well, ask the boys, are they ready to call it a night?
Are you ready to call it tonight?
You want to do final thoughts real quick, or you want to
Yeah, let's
do
let them do final thoughts.
Yeah, let's do final thoughts real quick because I know it's 11 o'clock anyway, and I know we had a late start, but you know, I hopefully next time the software will work out for us. We'll do if you see us going online live during the week and you just want to hang out, that's fine. It's not going to be a show; it's going to be testing of the software. So,
But
go ahead, Eric.
It was a great show. A lot of good conversation on a lot of on a lot of things that we talked about. We talked about mono and one shot, and different types, and exposure. So we covered a lot. So no, overall, I think this was a good show. So another good one in the can.
Nice. Tarek said, "Thank you all. It was really nice. I learned a lot." Thank you, Tarek. You're welcome. You're a welcome member of the family. You're on all the time, and I even catch him on Global Star Party in Explore Scientific too. So
Yeah.
Mr. Scott, now that you know, I think this is the first time where we couldn't call you Max Headroom tonight.
Yeah, everything was flowing well.
Don't ask me why. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you might have called up Spectrum and gave him a piece, but
yeah, well, that debacle last night. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
He IP blocked the entire family until we get log off.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm happy to see our little cherub there back again. I miss seeing her, and I can't wait to see. Yeah, I can't wait to see your when Daddy gets you hooked up with your first telescope. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
She gets to play with my little telescope once in a while.
Oh, nice.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Nothing wrong with that. But now that we're in the game with these little 39-cent jobbers, we'll actually be able to start doing some imaging. So I'm excited about that.
Yay!
And, long time coming.
Right.
And
for sure.
So it was a great show. There was a lot of great information, great questions tonight. Great questions. So just keep looking up, keep imaging.
And the infamous last words of Jack Horkheimer: keep looking up.
Keep looking up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Pete. Oh shoot.
Hey, did you see the lightning? The lightning crushed the Islanders the other day.
Hey, Leafs beat Boston. Leafs beat the Florida Panthers. Playoff hockey next month, boy. I'm telling you, I live for this moment. April, May, and June. Islanders not this year. Islanders don't stand a chance.
No, they don't. This year was, in all fairness to the Islanders, they have started to turn it up a little bit. They went 7-2-1 before their two losses to Boston and Tampa, and unfortunately, the beginning of the season totally crushed them with the COVID problems that they had really early on. They had the most missed games due to COVID in the entire NHL. And that's when you have basically the Bridgeport Sound Tigers playing at the NHL level. For those of you that don't know who the Bridgeport Sound Tigers are, that's the Islanders minor league team.
Seventh graders.
No, they're not seventh graders, but they're one step out of high school. I'll tell you that. But
Right.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate. And you know, and Varlamov, the goaltender, did not have his best run support, even though he has a really low GAA. He was losing these 1-goal games because we didn't score when he played. So
Yeah.
Welcome to my dilemma over the last 5 years, goaltending.
Hey, listen, you know what? You know, when you have people that you have on your team, and I'm not even going to mention names, you got these marquee goal scorers on your team. You know, you should be scoring 5 goals a game easy.
That's it. They do. They score, but the goalie lets in 2 more for what they do. I mean, they played Detroit, right? They had to win 10-8 because the goaltender let in 8 goals. That's how bad it is. But anyway, getting back to Astro.
You could have Varlamov. You could have him. He'll be okay. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I just want to thank all of our sponsors. I mean, the sponsorship really does such a great job, and they do support us. And also with our membership, I mean, the individuals now that have stepped up and have actually contributed, I think we should all give a hands out to all those people because they really do make our job so much easier as well. So kudos to them. And as I said, great show tonight. Eric, great questions. Everybody's contributed. Jason, thank you for putting this program together on a new platform.
Yeah, I appreciate your help today, Jason.
Thank you.
Well, we did this previously when I used to run the show, but you know, having to get back to work, Dan had to punt and find something that was easy for him to figure out.
Yep, pretty much. And you know what?
Circling back.
Yeah, we're circling back because I really want to learn this program because it is so much more stronger. And once I get the next level up, we'll be able to have a total, including myself, 9 people on at once. And get the damn hat off. But you know, it's gonna be a nice, you know, I've always liked this program. I just want to get it set up. I need a little bit more hardware that I could run things a little better, and Jason's gonna hold my hand through all that too. So it's gonna be cool. Ernie, this is called vMix. So it's a one of the top of the line, you know, basically directing, video directing programs. And
yeah, during the pandemic, it grew up really fast,
Yep.
and it became the industry standard for, I'd say, probably at least 60%, maybe a little bit higher, closer to 75% of the meetings that we all had to attend online were delivered via vMix in some facet. So it has been the preferred platform for my industry to be able to deliver virtual shows remotely.
Yeah.
So
it's been really cool. So basically, we were putting it through here we're still going to use Melon as a distributor,
the distribution point.
Yeah, so a distributor of the stream, because it seems to be working fine with vMix. So I mean, no problem.
And we should be able to see that we could. We'll look on the back end, but I should
Yeah.
be able to send an RMTP feed direct from vMix into Melon, so that it's just a direct patch.
Nice.
So we wouldn't have to do a virtual camera. We'll be able to do it just direct.
That's awesome.
We've got shirts coming, right, Daniel?
Yeah, so yeah, that's right. Scott and his wife finished the red member sponsor. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, a little bit over, a little bit higher. There you go. I'll turn off your title. There you go. Okay, so for those of you at the Red Giant and main sequence level, this is going to be the logo that you're going to be seeing on your shirts that you'll be getting, and they have been ordered, so that is going to be on the way. And so all it comes to me, and then it goes out to everybody else. I think we have 5 Red Giant sponsors and 17, if I at last count, main sequence sponsors. Plus, we just picked up number 4, 5, 6, and 7 patrons on the patron website. So yeah, on Patreon. So let's see. So patrons. So thank you to let's see, John Gambal, Josh Kovac, Captain 404, Andrus, Dennis, Bob, and Ernest. So those are our 7 Patreon patrons. So thank you so much. And we got 1, 2, 3 Red Giant sponsors and 1, 2, 3, 4 main sequence sponsors on there. So thank you for everybody on that. And again, remember, all of this goes into the kitty. So you know, minus obviously what Patreon takes. But that being said, I really don't have any final thoughts. I'm just looking really forward to seeing what I got on M81 and M82 with the Red Cat. I'm looking real forward to slapping this on the back of the 127 for Saturday. And, you know, we'll see what we got. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, guys, it's been great being on with you again. I'm glad that I could squeeze you in here on my 1 week off this next month, because I head into a straight run of shows starting Sunday, and it's all the way through like the 29th, almost nonstop.
I'll see you in New York.
Yep, I'll be in Chicago this next week, and then at the end of the month, I'll be out in New York delivering a show for a couple of really good clients. So hopefully get to meet up with Dan and visit with him a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
yeah, for sure.
Hopefully get some quality time back here with my kids, because every time I come back, they've grown up and learned way more than I thought they could. So it's like coming back to a whole new family because they've learned way too much, huh?
Yep.
All right.
So it's been good seeing you guys. I appreciate all the questions and comments and things like that in the chats, and appreciate you reaching out. And again, to the Patreon sponsors and things like that we didn't have when I was on, that we've grown into. It's a huge help. And, you know, we can't continue to do the show without your help. So we can only make it better as we continue to get that growth and that support. So we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So with that,
all right, Abby, you're on.
Are we ready to say our line?
Mm-hmm. Keep
Imaging.
Keep educating, and clear skies. See you next time on Asheville TV. Bye.
Bye
Thanks,
for
guys,
now.
everybody.
Good night.